The time's serious, got the Lord furious. We get scared, send up prayers, but he ain't hearing us. Turn to Satan, get delirious. What you better do is repent, boy, point blank, period. You got ignorant brothers, killing over colors, single mothers, crabs in a barrel, they're snapping at each other. Uncle Tom sleeping with the enemy under covers. Then you got needle fiends, alley cats chasing pipe dreams, or whatever's handy. Coke fiends, nose gleam, do whatever for the nose candy. Man tan, aiming to Andes. Gotta be wicked to get the Grammy. Don't condemn me, just understand me. My brother's not my own foe. These fake Hollywood pimps and Deuce Bigelows. Faggot niggas on the down low. 12-year-old selling ass for the billfold. Deuteronomy 28 in the chokehold.
In this world of drama, karma follows me closely. We live mostly comatose and so sleep. What is life but a ball, right? And every step manifests either life or death. And the effects of our life we choose is these curses, these verses. From the womb to hearses, the tomb to judgment. Heaven or hell, this is our life, our life, our life, our life.
Speaking of fighting, I've been writing. Writing is our child born and saying quitting sin. Number 2 pistol was shoved through a tattoo back. They say that him being neglected as a child was accessory to crime. Strange remedy nowadays. Brothers go to jail to find peace of mind. Now a cat watching me shit. Sharpen my shanks and bless my place. Describe my expression, blank, blank, domino. Black and Mexican race war. My father Geronimo carried on a string. Deputy controlling me through my hunger to live. Mirage power to shorten bid like Christ and a knife in it. The jailbird don't sing to sweat, stress, and peck. My life can be summarized in yard cribbage and TV set. I die at 10 and resurrect at 6 o'clock. Program these punches to move like shocks for curious
in
inmates.
In this world of drama, karma follows me closely. We live mostly comatose and so sleep. What is life but a ball, right? And every step manifests either life or death. And the effects of our life we choose is these curses, these verses. From the womb to hearses, the tomb to judgment. Heaven or hell, this is our life, our life, our life, our life. I watch dreams on the TV screen, bring me that jealousy. Every breath I breathe, bring me the felonies. Selling me lies, intoxication that leads me. Open the demons, I see them, no one believes me. I'm getting visions, I'm wishing needs would stop. I'm seeing myself shot, bleeding up in the ball. My people, they can't stand me, call me sick in the head. It's all these voices giving me all these choices. Bombarded with noises, gunshots, and stress. It's jail time unless I rise above and smash these crackers. Confuse me, pick me up, and use me. Wicked spirits, they choose me, possess and abuse me. I wanna scream cause my life's so miserable. We live so pitiful, brothers say the Israel will ride on these crackers, revenge and serve cold. I'm trying to hold on what's left of my soul. In this world of drama, karma follows me closely. We live mostly comatose and so sleep. What is life but a ball, right? And every step manifests either life or death. And the effects of our life we choose is these curses, these verses. From the womb to hearses, the tomb to judgment. Heaven or hell, this is our life, our life, our life, our life, our life.
If you can relate, throw 7 in the chat. If you can relate to that song, throw a 7 in the chat. Shabbat Shalom. It's your brother of my IQAhmath. First name IQ is all the same. Shabbat Shalom to my family that's in the house. Joining me for another DSTM, another Don't Shoot the Messenger episode. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High by your help shy. And welcome, my brothers and sisters and you fellow saints out there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Make sure the feet get white on your way in. Show some respect for the house. All right. Do that much. Do that much. I know we all got our own dirt that we're dealing with, but wipe it off at the door. When you come on in, make sure it's all clean. All right. We can at least do that. Can't we? All right. I see a few 7s in the chat. All praises, man. All praises. That's Ecclesiastes 7 and 7 in a nutshell, man. And Marvin said it best. That's why we sampled. You know what I'm saying? Makes me want to holler the way they do my life. The curses, no joke. All praises, man. Hopefully everybody's doing well this evening. Got another one to get to. Another one to get to. All right. You see your boy out there. Yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words, isn't it? Caught him slipping. Caught him slipping. As he's doing his greatest impression of slow Biden, taking a walk on the roof, uncharted territories for any other president, as he's strolling around his compound, taking a walk on the roof. He's talking about thinking about putting nukes on the roof and some more madness he was talking about, right? But in the moment, he's acknowledging and waving to his peoples. You notice how that arm stayed out, extended a little bit, kept it out there a little too long, enough for somebody to say, "Is that code? Is that code that he's trying to, throw out there for the MAGA maniacs out there? Is that code for a supremacist type of gesture? You tell me. You tell me. If I'm coming in clear, throw a 7 in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm sounding all right. I'll check myself as well. Okay, I can hear myself all right. Hopefully everybody else can as well. All right. But you can see it. You can see what we're in for. You can see what's going on. The rumors are true. Your man does not like you, does not like me, does not like those of Israelite faith. Blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics, we're on the short end of the stick under this man. You can see why all of the activity that's happening over here in Babylon and throughout the world is going down, because the head of the snake now is showing his fangs. The venom is dripping out each fang. He's slithering all over the world, right? He's laid down these tariffs. He's imposing his will on everybody. He's destroying as he moves along, shedding his skin every minute, flip-flopping 1 minute, saying he's going to do this, change it up, he's not going to do it. The man is slick. The man is slick, right? Let me, when I seen that picture, right, it gave me a scripture came into mind regarding, let me turn this up, hold on. Scripture came into mind regarding Nicanor, right? You see that little filthy stinking hand is, and that shoulder that lifts up his arm and his forearm and his hand. You understand? He's wagging it around, saluting. What was a reminder for me in the spirit, right? When we deal with the Feast of Nicanor and a memorial that we hold yearly in regards to the valiant warrior Judas Maccabeus and the rest of the mighty men of Israel who overthrew Nicanor, the wicked general of the Greeks at the time, and destroyed him and his army. We hold a memorial for that. Most of us know about it, right? But one key thing that drew my attention was, what did our people do to have a memorial when they caught Nicanor? He was the first one that got put to death. What did they do? 2 Maccabees 15, we're going to read 25 down. Then Nicanor, or Nicanor, however you wish to pronounce it, then Nicanor and they that were with him came forward with trumpets and songs. But Judas and his company encountered the enemies with invocation and prayer, so that fighting with their hands and praying unto the Most High with their hearts, they slew no less than 35,000 men. For through the appearance of the Most High, they were greatly cheered. See the power of the Lord? The Most High told us, I believe that's in either Habakkuk or Haggai, but the Most High said that he's going to work on our days that we would not believe, even though it be told to us. When we're trying to deal with understanding of how the Most High is going to establish judgment on the earth, we see how powerful our enemies are. We see from the technology to the weapons, to the spying, to the cameras, to the microphones, to the addictions that he has us lined up with, whether you're addicted to technology, addicted to drugs, whatever the case may be. He's got so many traps out there. And it's like, damn, how are we going to get it together? Even within the Israelite community, we're the forerunners of the enlightened men and women in the earth, waking our people up to who we are, waking our people up to righteousness, waking our people up to repentance, waking our people up to the knowledge of salvation. We're the forerunners of it. We hold the truth. But even within our community, there's self-imploding going on. And that's all because of the internet. It's because of ego, pride. It's because of jealousy, envy. It's because of just outright evil, lasciviousness, the whole nine, hypocrisy. We got to keep it real. It goes on within our community as well. And we sit back and say, well, damn, how are we going to get it together? How are we going to get it together? Well, guaranteed, the men that were with Judas Maccabeus at the time, they were saying the same thing. Like, how are we going to discomfit these Greeks, man? They done took over the whole earth. You read chapter 1, and it tells you about Alexander and all of his conquests. They said he subdued the earth. That's when Job 9:24 came into play. Then you see how all the nations, fell in subjection to him. And we're sitting back, little old us, how are we going to overcome? If you read earlier in the chapter, you can see where in various chapters from First Maccabees, I think the third chapter, earlier in this chapter, how Judas Maccabeus had to remind Israel of all of the great things that the Most High did for us and how he helped us discomfit our enemies, how he helped us overcome it. We fight through the power and the spirit of the Most High. That's unheard of in this earth. I can't imagine the anger of the Most High befalling on me or you. We don't understand how the Most High's power is, but the nations do. The nations do. And once it was understood, it was like, okay, well, you know what? Only through the power of the Most High is it going to happen. And that's exactly what was going on here. It says, so they start fighting with their hands and praying unto the Most High. It was a tandem thing. Psalms 144 in verse 1, David said, blessed be the Lord who teaches my hands to war. You can practice, you can train, you can do all you want to, but when the spirit of the Lord comes on you, your hands is going to be like hands of stone. You mighty man out there. The Lord said, man, you're going to fight with my power, with my skill to overcome your enemies. There ain't nothing we can do. There is not a thing that Black, Hispanic, Native American man can do against a so-called white man. This man was blessed to live by the sword. We wasn't. He knows weapons better than us. And now we're seeing putting ourselves up against the odds. Let's continue. So it says, verse 28, now when the battle was done, returning again with joy, they knew that Nicanor lay dead in his harness. Then they made a great shout and a noise, praising the Almighty in their own language. See, we got tired of dealing with the dang Greek tongue. We preserved our language. Nobody's saying you got to be a master linguist in Hebrew or the ancient Paleo or whatnot. If you have enough knowledge to do some word studies, have a little bit of knowledge of it, just to make sure that you don't forget or discontinue from your heritage, as Jeremiah the 6th chapter says that we did. 17 and 4. Because that's what helps preserve our culture. That's what helps us. So, you got some jakes out there that say, we don't need that language, whatever. Hey, that language don't matter. Hebrew, it's all twisted up. Y'all made that up. We see here that it was important for our people to maintain a knowledge of the language, at least. You understand what I'm saying? Because when they slew Nicanor, he had to hear it in the Hebrew tongue. He had to hear it from us, right? And the enemies had to hear it. Now let's continue. It said, and Judas, who was ever the chief defender of the citizens, both in body and mind, and who continued his love toward his countrymen all his life, commanded to strike off Nicanor's head and his hand with his shoulder and bring them to Jerusalem. You know, when I first came into the truth, man, and I never really read the Bible like that. And I remember brothers was telling me, man, the Bible's full of blood, wars, blah, blah, blah. And I'm, from the little bit of Christianity that I did have, I always believed in the Most High. I had some moments where we, devoutly went to church for, some months on end and try to get it in. But reading the word, no. My motivations for going to church was not the same as a quote unquote true believer, and the fear of God was on me. It was because either I was forced to go or because, a couple of my homeboys was like, hey, fine females in the church, man. You better come check them out. I'm like, oh, for real? When are you going again? I need to go check that out. So when brothers is telling me about the wars in the Bible and people's heads getting chopped off and all, I was like, get out of here. They're like, man, you better get into reading the Kings and Samuel and Maccabees. And I'm saying, what? Okay, let me check it out. And before you know it, I'm reading and I'm entrenched in the stories. I'm entrenched in the history. And I couldn't believe that this was in the Bible. I'm like, what? Warfare, blood, heads rolling? Because what do we get in church? Love, love, love. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Come as you will. No law. No. You dig what I'm saying? So when you go in with this old, this is why the so-called blacks and Hispanics are so damn effeminate when it comes down to them being raised in these churches, because they don't get the balance. The Most High said that the false balance is an abomination. You got to understand that if the Most High, God was all love, man. I mean, you are creating a lie within a lie, because if he said, I don't deal with imbalance, it's got to be just. If I love, that means I hate. If he's angry, that means he has joy in his people. There's a duality with the Most High. He's not just one way. I learned that fast, So when I seen that picture of Trump hoisting that arm up in a signature move looking like a NAZI salute, I said, oh, wait. He just can't help himself now. The cat's out the bag. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, oh, that arm is coming off. That arm is coming off. That head's going to roll. Whether now or later, justice is going to serve. A lot of things going on right now. We've had multiple mass shootings or public shootings within the last 2 weeks. There was another 2 this week. A supposed meeting for a peace deal is on the table between Putin and the U.S., which is interesting because they're speaking about this peace deal, and they're saying that a peace deal is on the table. They're going to come together and discuss a deal between the U.S. and Russia, as if those are the 2 countries that's at war. Where's Ukraine at this? Obviously, Ukraine didn't got pushed to the side. They're like, look, you're out of this thing. Now, how is NATO going to react to that? Because NATO is in love with some Ukraine. NATO has been using Ukraine as a proxy to try to take down Russia, and it ain't been working. So we know NATO is going to have a problem, and they're going to try to sabotage, in my estimation, and just historically and prophetically, we see what's been going on. Sabotage this little peace deal. Something's going to go down. I mean, we're already seeing the heightening up and the ramping up of the violence that's going on in America alone. What better time to have a, you know what? I meant to get that other scripture too. In Habakkuk 1 and 5, just to compound that situation with the Maccabees. I quoted it, but I wanted to bring it out. Habakkuk 1 and 5. Behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, For I will work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. You know, this is where, we got to really dig down deep, man. It's fourth quarter right now. How much time is on the clock? I can't see, but I know what quarter it is, right? And now the Lord is letting it be known that it's time to dig down deep and maintain that faith that was given to you. Maintain a focus that's going to make sure that you hold on to that crown that the Most High has for you, right? Let me get that also in Revelation. We're gonna come back to Habakkuk. Revelation the third chapter. Oops. Revelation 3, 10, I believe. Yeah, we're gonna read. Let's read 10 and 11. So Revelation 3, 10 and 11 says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience." This is the time we gotta lock in, because Lord knows, who knows? I would be really disappointed. I'd be really puzzled, scratching my head a little bit if this quote unquote peace deal goes on with Ukraine and the US next week. I doubt it. Something's going to sabotage somebody. Something's going to, throw it off. They've tried a number of different times. The number of threats that Trump done thrown out there. You remember he had a 50-day deadline. He dropped it down to 10, which would have been, I think, tomorrow. I think the 9th is supposed to be that deadline. I think that's why they're saying this is what prompted the conversation between him and Putin going down. There's been so many threats against the economy, the funding and the weaponry that's been sent over there to Ukraine, the sending of nuclear subs over there. I mean, I don't see how Putin could just sit back and say, you know what, all's well, ends well. Let's forget about it. Peace on the table is all good. I just don't understand. I can't see how that could go down. But if it does, the Lord said we have to still keep the word of his patience. Luke 21:19 says, in your patience, possess your souls. So patience is going to be, as they say, a serious virtue for us to maintain and have. This ain't the time to lose faith. This ain't the time to get confused. This ain't the time to be sitting back chasing every wind of doctrine. Lock into what the Most High brought you into this truth with. His fear, the commandments, the curses, the histories, those type of things you need to lock in on. You stop worrying about, this deep breakdown. What's that? The laws and the commandments, as you understood them, as you came into the truth, you better hold on to them. Now, can things be refined? Can things be greatly expounded upon? That maybe you didn't have a full understanding about certain things at one point? Yes, you definitely still got to continue growing. The scriptures tell us that we have to always abound in the truth, according to 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. But now the time to hold fast, as the scripture is going to tell us. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, because it's going to come. Just man's going to fall 7 times. We know about all the scriptures. Most High said he's not going to tempt us above that which we are able. He's going to always provide a way for us to escape. But some of us that don't maintain the patience and the faithful works of the Lord, and the maintaining of the commandments and the charity and so forth and so on, some of us are going to fall in that hour of temptation, because it's going to come, man. Satan said he walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. His mission is never ending. But the Lord said if we maintain and keep that word of patience, he's going to deliver us from that. Which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. No man take thy crown. Thy crown, meaning you already have one. It's yours to lose. It's mine to lose. Keep that in mind. You got it, but you can definitely lose it. I can definitely lose it. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. This is what America is known for. This is America's MO. But what the Lord say? Woe to him that buildeth his town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. This place has imminent destruction coming upon it. That's why we're seeing all of the violence jump off. This is why we're seeing the floods They're talking about this hurricane season that's coming up. They're expecting $400 billion worth of destruction coming this way. They're telling people get prepared now. Could it be all hype? Could it be real? Do you want to gamble and find out? We live by the rules, man. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. You understand? Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Yeah. This is the spirit that America comes in. This is the spirit that America was birthed in. Woe to the bloody city. America's got so much blood on its hands that it can't wash off. It is stained with the blood of the indigenous peoples here in the Americas. It's stained with the Southern Kingdom from the transatlantic slave trade. It's stained throughout the four corners of the earth. Blood is still in West Africa from the destruction that our people have. Our blood is still flowing in the streets in the motherland, in Jerusalem. Blood is still flowing in the streets in Europe. Four corners of earth where our people is at. South Central America, you can forget about it. Haiti, full of blood, right? Full of lies and robbery. That goes without saying. That's plain. Do I need to expound on America's? Hold on. In God we trust. That's one lie. Already. They have quote unquote founding fathers. Another lie. Robbery. This is the land. No, this man is known for colonization. Last week, Brother Lob over at Bow did a really good class about the greedy colonizer, and went into Esau in regards to the lustful and destructive nature of him as a colonizer, as a nation of colonizers, right? I'm glad he touched on, the papal bulls. Dum Diversus is one of the papal bulls that, the Catholic Church set up in the 14th century, setting out to quote unquote spread Catholicism throughout the earth and, subduing the infidel heathens, saying that it was manifest destiny for them to take over lands and islands, destroy the natives if they didn't bow down to the cross and white Jesus, all in the name of the Catholic Church, among other things. Bloody city, full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. Yeah, how many times about people be marching up and down the streets talking about no justice, no peace? What's the difference between us back in the day saying, Pharaoh, let my people go? You understand? The prey departeth not. We're not departing anywhere. We're the prey. We're the ones who's being hunted in the streets. We're the ones who's being persecuted, oppressed. We're the ones who've been hung, lynched, burned, tarred, feathered, dog sicked on us, castrated. We've gone through it. And we're not departing. They will refuse to let us go. This is why you can't leave the country without a passport. This is why you got to go through all this rigmarole, man, to go relocate to another country. Doesn't matter where you go. The scriptures still say that the curse is going to follow you wherever you go. The prey departeth not. Look at this. The noise of a whip. Man, that will wake up anybody. Our ancestors still hearing that ringing in their ears. And the noise of the rattling of wheels and the prancing of horses and the jumping of chariots. Yeah, this is the weaponry. This is the army. This is all of the things that, our enemies have lined up, from the tanks to the Humvees to the bulletproof cars to the drones, the prancing of horses, the jumping of chariots. This is all militaristic things that he's got lined up, right? This is how he holds everybody hostage. This is how he imposes his will on the rest of the earth. Let me get this in Jeremiah 22. And let's read verse 13. It says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. I mean, just ask yourself, was this place built up in righteousness? They come up here talking about, oh, this is built on Judeo-Christian values. Get the F out of here. Judeo-Christian values. If you don't knock it off, man, I showed y'all, a couple months ago, that city councilman and I think it was a senator of Texas, and they knew, and they were debating about the Bible being put in the schools, and the Democrat was talking about, oh, well, what day is the Sabbath? And she was like, on Saturday. And he was like, well, we're not supposed to be doing any work, and this, that, and the third. And here we are in the courthouse. It's like they know our laws, but they will throw the laws out the way. They make you beg, plead, and cry, and call off work, and get written up every time you got to call off to take off the Sabbath day, and take off one of these holy days. You popping up saying, you need extra days off. Everybody and your mom and them passed away because you're going and telling your boss, I got a funeral. I need 3 days off. Because you're trying to get some days off so you can go travel and go do the work. You're trying to get some days off so that you can keep tabernacles. Yeah. Uncle Johnny passed away, boss. I need my bereavement time. Trying to be a deceiver, yet true. I'm trying to use wisdom. I need these days off. You telling boss, man, people done died, boss. That's the only way you're going to get some time off without being penalized. Listen, he built his house by unrighteousness. Broken peace treaties, homestead acts, sharecropping. You understand what I'm saying? It's stolen lands. This is how this house got built. And then you got the chump, Agent Orange, running around and self-admittedly said, Black people built America. If it wasn't for the blacks, the blacks, the vernacular, man, that this dude uses, the blacks built America. Did y'all hear that one? Throw 7 in the chat if you heard that one. If you didn't, maybe I'll find it. Throw 7 in the chat. Don't have me waste my time if you heard it. Seven in the chat. Some of y'all sleeping? Hello? Y'all heard it? Okay. So I ain't gonna waste my time. For the people in the back, though, it's only 17 seconds.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? African American.
He don't believe that. He's saying that to sway votes. The scripture say, man, if he had needed thee, he'll use thee. African American, that's another slander, man. Even throw that label on us. And that wasn't that clear. He's called us the blacks and some other clue. I forgot it wasn't that. It was some other thing he was talking about. He's got a great relationship with the blacks and some foolishness. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. But let me get back over here. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, do we need to really talk about the hard work and labor that our people do? He just readily just said, African Americans built this place. But when it came down to reparation, when it came down to making right the wrongs right and everything, he ain't did a damn thing for it. Ain't no wages coming from that statement. That same White House that he was walking on that roof and did a Hitler salute to was designed by Benjamin Banneker, a brother. Did you think he got any credit for that? No. You understand that we dealing with the devil here. That saith, I will build me a wide house and large chambers. Oh, you love that White House, huh? The trap house. Full of lies, deceit, robbery, drugs, scandal. I'll build me a wide house and large chambers, and cutteth him out windows and it is sealed with cedar and painted with vermilion. Shalt thou reign because thou closetest thyself in cedar? Did not thy father eat and drink and do judgment and justice, and then it was well with him? He judged the cause of the poor and the needy. Then it was well with him. Was not this to know me, saith Yahweh? But thine eyes and thine heart are not but for the covetousness and for to shed innocent blood and for oppression and for violence to do it. You know, this is any time when you got a reigning power. America claimed, you know, he's remember on this campaign, he had the Trump Bible. and I believe it was Oklahoma. They were talking about, you know, putting the 10 Commandments in the schools and having Bibles back in the school. They said it had to be the Trump Bible, though. You know, the Most High said, man, when you're supposed to be dealing in righteousness, but what? No, their eyes and hearts is nothing but for covetousness, shedding innocent blood, and for oppression and violence to do it. America's reaping what they sow because of the evil that it's been ruled by. And it's not even up for debate. Their own people are saying this now. You've got economists saying this. You've got lily white college student tree huggers who's anti-war saying, oh, this is what we get for what we did to the black people. This is what we get because we've been stealing and robbing the nations. This is what we get. We're reaping what we sow. I mean, you hear the echoes. Just go on, you see them on TikTok, all the little liberal Edomites running around begging, crying about, you know, how bad things are and how they hate being American and, you know, they don't want to be here anymore. And, you know, they don't like their new leader. You know, but this is all leading up to this last scripture here. Proverbs 10:18 says, he that hideth hatred with lying lips and he that uttereth the slander is a fool. You know, this is what happens is, you know, they sit out there and act like, you know, he's campaigning saying, hey, I've done more in my 8 months as a president than any other president in the history. Yeah, you sure have. You crashed the economies. You've engaged in multiple endless wars. You've increased the debt. You done told multiple lies. You done rearranged, changed, and fired all kind of people. But then he just fired the head of the IRS, which I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Now he's rambling around talking about, oh, he wants to get rid of income tax. Hey, all good. Get rid of the tax. But you know he's not going to do that, man, because why? America's birthed out to Rome, man. Rome was running around collecting taxes. Were they not? Rome, how would they be the stepchild of Rome if they took this out? Luke chapter 2. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. So we know that this was the custom of Rome. Him talking about getting rid of income tax, that's just another ploy that went back to people because, you know, yeah, exactly, Ashard. No Epstein files, right? But in order to try to get some heat up off of him, you know, he's flirting around with the income tax, talking about getting rid of income tax. He's flirting around saying, oh, you can start with, they're debating on opening up the doors to allow your 401ks now to be, you can invest in crypto now. And that could be a damn trap. Because what's that mean? That now even your retirement savings is going to be digitized. That could be turned off with a switch, with the touch of a button. Even though technically it still is right now. If you're under 65, you know, you can't touch it unless you want to get penalized and taxed. I think I don't know what the early retirement. I think the early retirement is like 58 or something like that. that you can get it without penalty, but you're still gonna get taxed on it. I mean, you know, or you get a little hardship loan, or you can do an emergency withdrawal. I mean, there's always some damn catch to get your own damn money. But he said, hey, what if I let you get into crypto? That's the wave of the future. This is where the money's going. People saying, yeah, I don't want to be gambling on the stock market. I want to go over here and get this crypto money. Then when everybody falls into that trap, man, and they pull the plug on it and lose every damn thing, oh, it's all bad then. You know, he sets everybody up, man. It's like, you know, anybody play basketball, man, it's a pick and roll. Setting up the play, you know. Let's get to some of these stories, man. Let's get to it. So the scriptures say, he that hideth hatred with lying lips is a fool. So he that hideth hatred with lies, I love everybody. Oh, there's no problems in America. America first. We're just trying to purge out America from all of the illegals. They can come back in. We love everybody, but you got to come back in the right way. No. This is all code. When you see him on that roof and he's hoisting up that stinking arm and them sweaty armpits, this is what really is being going on behind closed doors. We've talked about other articles too. You seen what went down over there in Cincinnati? The neo-Nazis tried to ride over there, and brothers over there wasn't having it. Came out strapped up and got them up out of there. Same thing happened down in Orlando a couple years ago. You know, they try to pop their heads out and they end up getting ran off. But there was about a year and a half ago, they was marching down there thick in Tennessee. But you seen the articles. They in there recruiting in MMA schools and karate schools and having little secret meetings and training and all that other stuff. Like, hey, this is what's on the horizon. The scriptures tell us that. And the scriptures say, man, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, like you're gonna sit up there and try to, hey, no, I love you guys. You know, the corporate cats, man, your bosses, and these are the ones who are in these same groups. But when they're at work, man, they smiling in your face, man. They happy and trusted. You know, that's one thing, man. I remember I think it was Elder Rossoff. He said, when a white person smiles at you, it's to disarm you. You ever get that? You know, that nervous smile, and they say, "Yeah, hi," because they want to give you that impression. I'm friendly. You're in the elevator, walking down the street. You're in line at the store. They're beeping to you to let you over in the lane. Hi, excuse me. They want to disarm you first. And you say, oh, that's cool little white man. That's a cool little white woman smiled at me. Yeah. But don't forget in the Matrix, man, the woman in the red dress, man, is what got a Jay put to death. You know, American Nizis. You got to watch the words, man. The bots is all over the place. The Aryan Freedom Network is riding high in the Trump era. So they're uprising. They're getting more confident. They're organizing. They're poking their heads out. All these other years under slow Biden, Obama, they still been around, but they've been low-key training. They in the backwoods, getting into MMA, sharpening they swords, practicing they shooting, homesteading, practicing living in the wilderness, fasting, training. They're doing all of this stuff. Now, when they got somebody to ride with, it's like, oh, we're confident that we can pop out. See, with Donald Trump's return to power, the neo-Nazi group, valued by his rhetoric, is expanding its reach and changing the face of white extremism in America. Its leaders, a Texas couple, both born to the Ku Klux Klan, are their leaders. See. So this is the virtue signaling that's going on. This is the spirit that's engulfing America. This is why you're hearing about these mass shootings and things jumping off. You know, I don't know what triggered the brother down there in Georgia on the Army base, but I'm pretty sure that is one or two things. a mental health issue, or there was some bullshit going on with the brother and he had enough. I mean, we hear about a lot of the things that go down in Fort Hood and some of these other, Army bases, man. Women getting violated, women getting killed, uh, rapes going on, molestations going on, harassments jumping off, lynchings going on, hazing. You know, wouldn't surprise me, man. I think the brother was a sergeant or something, but something made him snap, and it would not surprise me if it had something to do with politics and oppression. And if it wasn't that, the brother, had some spirits on him that had him in mentally off. We're gonna find out what the real deal is if they tell us the truth in the story as time goes on. Let's move on. We talked about this a minute ago. U.S. and Russia planning a truce deal to cement Putin's gains in Ukraine. So again, what happened? They said he got arrested for a DUI earlier. Yeah, well, guess what? You and I both know. But Jake ain't that damn drunk that he gonna go in there and start firing up some stuff unless that liquor got in him and that became a truce and made him say, you know what, this is gonna give me the heart to do what I need to do. Sick of these MFers in here. Who knows? But we're gonna see if they're gonna tell some truth on it. They're gonna slander the Jake. We're gonna find out. But notice here it says U.S. and Russia are planning a truce deal. No need for Ukraine in this one. It's as if the U.S. and Russia are already at war. Oops, did they slip and say something they weren't supposed to? Washington and Moscow are aiming to reach a deal to halt the war in Ukraine that would lock in Russia's occupation of territory seized during its military invasion, according to people familiar with the matter. So part of the deal is the particular regions that Russia's already gained. They're saying, okay, you got it, keep those. And Russia's saying they want more. They want the capital. I think they want Kyiv. They got the next. They didn't got a few other regions. I think they got 5-6 regions. They're gaining more. And Trump is like, okay, look, you can have those. We're gonna tell the Ukrainians fall back. Anybody that stays there, they're back under Russian rule. Blah blah blah. As part of a truce, not a peace deal. Truce. That just means, hey, ceasefire, but calm down. We're at a truce until further notice. But they've had this issue back in I think 2016. But not to this particular level. But we'll see if this pans out. The scriptures say when they say peace, when they shall say peace, peace, sudden destruction happens. That's consistently happened with all of these particular seeking out of peace and truce deals, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's in Gaza. The only ones who submitting to these particular truce deals is you seen Pakistan and India. They knocked it off real quick. Esau went over there and told the 2 dogs stop barking, man. They shut up. Cambodia and who was it? Cambodia and I want to say Vietnam. Let me make sure. I don't want to get this wrong. But many of us ain't even heard about their little conflict. Who was it? Cambodia and Thailand. Many of our people didn't know they got into a quick little war a couple of weeks ago. And immediately, white man come in there and say, hey, knock it off. Quit all that barking. The heathen get in check real fast. You be wondering, like, why do they always submit real quick? I mean, that's just in them, man. They are innately ready to bow down to a superior peoples. See, look at this. First Maccabees 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should have his laws. Shall leave his laws. What does it say? So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. They fall in line right away. It's going down. They going out of each other. He's going to say, man, knock it off. You messing up the money. I don't care about your little tribalism jumping off going on over there, man. Shut that down right now. Or I'm going to take my belt out. If I got to take my belt out, you know how that go. White Zaddy say, hey, white belt come out. Hey, them gooks going to be quiet. Thailand and Cambodia, they shut up real quick. India, Pakistan, they shut up real quick. See, a truce agreement between Thailand and Cambodia came into effect in the early hours of Tuesday, testing whether it would halt 5 days of open combat that have engulfed their jungle-clad. Look at this. And down here it tells you because of Trump. They had the deadliest conflict in over a decade. I mean, this is where you hear about wars and rumors of wars jumping up. Thailand and Cambodia on Monday agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire to end their deadliest conflict in over a decade after 5 days of fighting. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who mediated the ceasefire talks between Cambodian leader Hun Manet and Thai acting premier Phum Tham Wichachai, said the truce would take effect at midnight on Tuesday. They get it in effect, but later on, I believe on this article, they said they had to get it together because them Trump Trump terrorists are going to come down on them. Yeah, see here, the ceasefire deal came a day after U.S. President Donald Trump said he had threatened Thailand and Cambodia with tariffs to bring them to the negotiating table and end hostilities. You see who was really behind it? White Zaddy came out and said, I'm going to pull out my belt and whip both of your dang games. Well, it is Friday Night Live. I'm going to whip both your asses. Right? So when White Zaddy come out, hey, the heathen going to shut up and get right. So peace deal on table. We'll see. You know, Esau, when they fighting with each other, it's a little different. You know, you can't contain these too much, man. They going at it. We've seen them try to pause it to no avail, but we'll see what happens. Continuing on. Look at Russian and Chinese navies practice destroying enemy submarine days after Trump's move. So, you know, right before they got to talking about let's come to the table on some peace deal. Last week, we seen Trump sent them two nuclear-armed submarines out there. Russia and China immediately took action. They started making maneuvers and going out, preparing for what possibly could have been, you know, some sort of interaction jumping off. They was acknowledging, saying, hey, we got to go ahead and practice our anti-sub tactics, because who knows where this thing can go. So it was going to escalate and moving pretty fast. Right. So it says that the Russian and Chinese navies have practiced hunting and destroying an enemy submarine in the Sea of Japan. Russia's defense ministry said on Wednesday, days after U.S. President Donald Trump said he had moved 2 U.S. nuclear subs closer to Russia. Russia said the exercise involved Chinese Y-8 anti-submarine aircraft and 238 planes from Russia's Pacific Fleet, as well as helicopter crews. So immediately we see here, who do we see when America is making a threat? Who's coming together? Russia and China. That's not debatable. We see it right here, right? East versus West, that's going to happen. America's prime enemies are going to be Russia and China, along with the other nations that come along with their alliances. Let's continue. Russia moves nuke bombers closer to Europe just days after explosive Trump World War III row. So when Trump made that move with them subs, we're seeing China and Russia come together. They got to doing some military exercises with anti-subs, planes and bombs and whatnot. And they also went and sent some nuke bombers close to Europe. So Russia was getting ready to get busy. So the question is this peace talk, because notice, remember, it said a truce deal between Russia and America Ukraine they ain't even speaking too much about Ukraine. Trump is scared right now because he's saying, hold on. I already got the scandal looming over my head. I got the economy that's crashing. I got all these wars going on. And I just did something. I was advised to send these 2 nuclear subs over there. And Russia said, oh, what? Okay, boom. Send the nuke bombers over there close to Europe. It might go down. China, you got my back. China says, yes. Let's get busy. Let's show them that we're prepared. And now all of a sudden you're hearing about, oh, let's talk peace. Hold on. Vladdy, let's talk. Who's holding the cards here? That's what we got to wonder. The Trump seemed like he kind of blinked and said, oh, hold on. We're not ready for this. Putin has moved at least 4 heavy Tu-95 MS nuclear bombers closer to Europe. The strategic aircraft are often used to bomb Ukraine. And Insider UA says they have been loaded with missiles, leading to a, quote, high probability of an imminent major attack. So them peace talks is based upon the U.S. and Russia trying to stop World War III from going down, because Trump sees that it was about to go down. Let's move on. China's biggest threat explains Xi can flip the kill switch anytime on critical tech. This is very important too, because they're acknowledging that, China has a kill switch on all the tech. Everything made in China, all that other stuff, they can kill all of that stuff. As much as we're all addicted to and locked into the technologies and AI and all of the fascinations with what it can and can't do, and, I've always said, hey, there's back doors to every damn thing. They can kill it in a moment. We could be in the dark ages at any time. You seen from that movie Leave the World Behind, and all of the damn Tesla cars was all jammed up and smashed up because the auto function went on. The cars were shut down, internet goes off, lights off, power's out, all from a kill switch. China is now the largest technological threat to the United States, as it has the ability to flip the kill switch on Western electrical infrastructure anytime. So this is why I always say, hey, get you a little backup generator, get you some solar panels to make sure that you got some backup power, because you never know. It may not be because of the kill switch or the grid going down, but it very well could. But at the same time, you may have internet. You may have rolling blackouts that go on in your neighborhood. They may have to start rationing out power when the grid gets to be, overworked. Remember that happened down in Texas a few years back when it was they had the winter storms down there, and they did the blackouts, and people was out without power for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And people was down there shivering and jacked up and struggling. And some little, the rich areas, they gave them their power. But in many other cities, Jakes was not having no power, man. They was jacked up down there. But it lets you know that's how easily things can switch. So sometimes you might need a little bit more than some candles and all of that. If you got it, cool. Use what you got. But shoot, probably I don't know what them prices are on all them things right now. Solar generators, they probably up now because of the tariffs kicking in and stuff coming from China and everywhere else. Probably up there now. But if able to flip a budget or finance something, do what you got to do, because it's always good to have a little something at the back end. Even when for those of us when we go out to keep tabernacles and whatnot, you get out there, man, it's pitch black. It might be nice if you had some USB powered lights that you can take out there with you. You may have a little fire, but you walking in that dark, especially the brothers, man. You gotta get up. You gotta go take that walk into the trees and to the bushes to relieve yourself. You You know, make sure you got your flashlights and other stuff, man. I say that to say, listen, this is the type of technology that is available as a weapon. Shutting off power grids, you know, that means your not only your lights, your ability to cook, shower, hot water, all that stuff can get killed in a minute. Forget about trying to log on to Instagram and TikTok and that's over with. You ain't logging in a jack squat. Don't Siri ain't gonna tell you how to get home no more. She ain't gonna tell you how to cook your favorite. She's out of here. It's gonna get back to the times of where you had to remember your directions, you had to remember landmarks, you had to remember phone numbers, you had to remember. I mean, if you're able to get to a landline and maybe make a call, you maybe have to invest in some walkie-talkies or ham radios to be able to communicate. I mean, it's gonna be like that. Speaking of that, and shout out to Shalak and to Elder Rashad. I always give y'all a movie reference. If you have not seen the movie 40 Acres, and I know some of y'all scratching your head saying, what? It's 40 Acres. What's that? I said the same thing. I never even heard, you ain't see no promotion of this movie, nothing. It was in and out of the theaters as fast as you can blink your eyes. But I believe you can rent it on Amazon now, and it might be on, maybe some other streaming service. 40 Acres. Very good movie. And if you want to get into the spirit of more of what I'm talking about, go check that movie out. Because it definitely can go down the way that movie is lined up. Continuing on, it says, following this revelation, America has launched multiple investigations into Chinese manufactured technology, with several studies uncovering malicious, mysterious computer codes that can be remotely activated to cripple vital infrastructure, including natural gas pipelines and power grids. They can shut off the gas, which is, one of the key factors for power here, along with the rest of the grid. They can go down. I mean, they already talk about the grid is already under heavy strain when it comes down to heat waves, when it comes down to cold fronts. There's been reports of, rebellious, seditious Edomites, right-wing extremists trying to destroy power grids and getting busted. They're trying to kick some stuff off. So just imagine. You get into these times, man, and for those living in apartments, condos, whatever the case may be, man, imagine they cut the water off. And you can't take it. You know what I'm talking about. You can't urinate. I remember when they had Hurricane Sandy over there on the East Coast, ripped up. This was like early 2000s, I believe. In the early 2000s, Hurricane Sandy tore up the East Coast, Coney Island, all that in New York, New Jersey. It got jacked up, right? They were talking about, because the power was out and everything was like that, people were taking dumps in the hallways, stairways, outside, anywhere but their houses. I mean, they said, man, the whole damn projects and the buildings were smelling like a whole sewage system. You understand what I'm saying? You got to look at how to get, make portable toilets, all that stuff. Because I'm telling you, our people don't have no idea how easy it is to make people panic and flip out and lose their minds and have all hell break loose. Turn off the lights for a few days, Jake gonna lose their mind. Turn off the water where you can't shower, can't bathe, can't cook, you can't clean, cook your food, can't take a dump up. Jake gonna lose their damn minds. And that's when it goes down. So imagine they got the kill switch. They can do all of that. Make them mad enough. Just the fact that the threat is there, knows that the reality is right around the corner. China is choking to supply critical minerals to the Western defense companies. Beijing's tightening controls are a sign of the leverage it has over the U.S. military supply chain. So China is flexing its muscle Let me fix this up because the text is a little off. Okay. And America is reeling right now and is bowing down and submitting to the Eastern powers. And before you know it, they ain't gonna want to bow down no more. They're already trying to hold China back from, attacking Taiwan. And they was close not too long ago. Remember, they said by 2027. So about another year, a year and a half, they might pull the trigger, which is going to draw America into another war. China is limiting the flow of critical minerals to Western defense manufacturers, delaying production and forcing companies to scour the world for stockpiles of the minerals needed to make everything from bullets to jet fighters. So now they're even cutting off the mineral supplies and things that America needs, like silver and all kind of stuff, in order to make bullets, copper, all this other. I mean, they can cut off America. And remember, America is at a shortage. Remember Slow Biden a year and some change ago was talking about how they were running out of ammunition and running out of things to send in Ukraine. It was like, we still got to keep some stuff for ourselves and we're running low. Remember, America made the declaration that they were going to get back into constructing nukes again because they seen all the rest of the world was stocking up and doing what they need to do. So now China's saying, oh, tariffs, okay, no problem. How about we just cut you off for your favorite things? Esau got a sweet tooth for bullets and jet fighters and bombs and everything else. So what if I decide to just cut you off? How about that? And if you get us too mad, we'll flip the internet kill switch on you. This is how we know America's time is ticking and is limited and is going to get, in a position where they ain't going to have a lot of answers for the opposition that's going to come to them. Earlier this year, a U.S.-China trade tension, as U.S. and China trade tension soared, Beijing tightening controls it places on the export of rare earths, while Beijing allowed them to start flowing after the Trump administration agreed in June to a series of trade concessions. China has maintained a lock on critical minerals for defense purposes. China supplies around 90% of the world's rare earths and dominates the production of many other critical minerals. Now, this also reminds me, remember, America signed that $500 billion minerals deal with Ukraine. And now, in typical Esau fashion, they said, hey, look, in a swap, give us $500 billion worth of the minerals and we'll have this deal and we'll continue giving you weapons and we'll get you back in this war. Now look what they did. They got the deal. They got the $500 billion. And now they're saying, oh, we're going to negotiate a truce deal without you. And we're going to let Russia take over all that land that they got, kicked them in the ass and told them, thanks for the minerals, sucker. Ukraine probably sit back like, hey, wait, we made a deal. Deals are made to be broken. Esau don't give a damn, man. That dude was a damn devil. They made that deal and told them, give us that $500 billion critical minerals deal. And now, and they said, in exchange, we'll defend you. We'll get you what you need. We'll keep the money flowing. We got the weapons jumping off. We'll tell Russia back down. Ukraine says, deal, fine, sign it. Remember that? Remember that before that's when they had the little fight house situation. Zelensky went over there. They got to barking at each other in the White House. He left mad. Trump shook him down, made him sign the deal. He signed the deal. Now Trump backed out a couple months later and says, hey, thanks for everything. We'll see if that peace deal goes down. Christy Nome says Alligator Alcatraz to be a model for ICE state-run detention centers. Yeah, so what are we talking about? We know about Alligator Alcatraz down there in Florida. There is talks for more to be built. Remember, I've talked about, remember the rumors of, FEMA camps? That's a lie. Oh, you guys are talking about, mass, remember on the internet, there was big things about guillotines and, mass coffins being found. And now we're hearing about, FEMA camps do exist. Oh, these are all camps funded by, but they're calling them detention centers, not camps. Oh, we're going to play semantics now. Now, a federal judge popped out just recently, I think today, and said, no, we got to pause that. But every time they pause it, that's just kicking the can down the road. They're going to ease up and say, hey, okay, we got to let them do it. Federal law says we got to, support the Constitution on the fourth. I think it's the 14th Amendment. Whatever they doing, man. You saw me constantly flipping the script. But they definitely were pushing forward with getting the camps built up. Homeland Security Christy Noem says Alligator Alcatraz will serve as a model for state-run. That means each state is going to have. But remember, we talked about the 10 FEMA regions, and various states are going to be within each region. Remember that? I showed y'all that map before. Y'all remember these? State-run camps, state-run detention centers. When they divide it up, it's going to be easier to control. See this? FEMA Region 1, FEMA Region 2, 3, 4, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When they're going to break up America into these particular regions, this is what they desire, this is what they want, so that they can control it state by state and region by region. And there's going to be camps located all within here as quote unquote detention centers. And if you remember, Trump said, oh, we're starting with the migrants, and there's bad people here too. America's next. Citizens are next. Remember he threatened that? That's exactly right. Hunger Games for real. Sector 12, Sector 13, Sector 7, Sector 4. That's exactly where they got that from. Art imitating life. Look at this. FDA approves Jeff Bezos lab-grown fake fish for U.S. food supply without safety data. Without safety data. Hello? Did you hear that? Remember, and Esau's running around here praising JFK Jr. because he's talking about, oh, we're going to stop the mRNA shots. We're going to stop. Listen, man, and he's sitting back and letting everything else go. He ain't stopping them shots, man. He's just saying we're going to stop the federal funding. That doesn't mean that they're not going to get private equity, private corporate fundings. Big pharma still going to be running the show. Those things are still going to exist. You got Bill Gates running around making, putting vaccines in dental floss now. They've been talking about putting it in your lettuce. I mean, they're finding other ways to infect into poisons. Now they're giving Jeff Bezos, another one of his billionaire buddies, man, without safety data. Now, remember, they even talked about, the FDA said they were going to stop doing safety checks on milk and certain dairy products now. And I did a lesson on that years ago, talking about the frankenfoods and death on a plate. I believe that's what I named the lesson. Search the archives in the YouTube if you haven't seen it. Go back, check it out. 3, 4, 5 years, at least 3, 4 years ago, I did a lesson on that, but been talking about it way before that. I'm just saying you can find a lesson regarding this stuff. Lab-grown fake fish, salmon. Of course, it's going to be a lawful fish, right? In a move that has raised serious concerns about the future of food safety, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved lab-grown salmon for human consumption. That's why it's so wild how, the devil covers every corner. Because you can say, well, I'm a pescatarian, man. I don't eat that beef, man. Red meat, man. Y'all don't know what you're eating with that. Okay, yeah. He's like, yeah, go ahead. I'll get you with the fish too, man. You hear about these GMO raised tilapia. Now they got the damn salmon. God knows whatever else he's got lined up down the pipeline. The atrazine they put in there, the frogs, and changing their damn hormonal structures going on with that. We know that the earth has been corrupted. I mean, Isaiah 24th chapter tells us the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So you can say, well, I'm eating straight from the earth. The Lord said that the earth is defiled. We have no choice, man, but to eat our defiled bread, as it says in Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, through the faith of Christ and through the laws, man. We got laws to abide by, which is in Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, Leviticus 11, among others, Leviticus 17 regarding not eating blood. We've got laws that we got to maintain. We have a faith that we have to apply. But if you have certain knowledge of things, I mean, some things you got to really be wise and say, you know what, I heard about that, man. It's better be safe, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't know what's going on. The new fake fish product is produced by the Jeff Bezos funded AG tech startup Wild Type. What's even more alarming is that this approval was based solely on the San Francisco-based company's internal safety claims without the requirement for a third-party testing, animal trials, or a full public review. Wild Type is backed by heavyweights like Amazon's founders, investment firm Bezos Expeditions, Cargill, and Hollywood actor Leonardo DiCaprio. It has now become the fourth company to receive FDA approval to sell lab-cultivated fake meats. Yeah, that's all that's going to be available sooner or later. You know, that's why I get it, man. People, people's out there saying, man, I'm homesteading, man. I'm living off the land. I'm raising my own, doing it. If you're able to do that, man, I salute you, all praises. And let me know if you got wrong. But it's wild out here, man. They got the fake lab-grown chicken. They got lab-grown beef, salmon. They're covering everything on the plate right now. You know, it's wicked out here. Look what else he's doing. Pennsylvania Department of Health to distribute free potassium iodide tablets to residents near nuclear power plants. This is how we know, man, this dude is wicked as hell. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Department of Health is coordinating the statewide distribution of free potassium iodide tablets on August 14th for all Pennsylvanians who live, work, or study within 10 miles of the 4 active nuclear power plants in the Commonwealth. The KI tablet distribution events are part of emergency preparedness planning and are only to be used in the likely event of a radiological release from a nuclear power plant. Listen, they ain't handing out these potassium iodide tablets, man, unless they fear that there is a leak going on in one of these nuclear power plants, unless they fear that something could go down that could rupture the power plants. I mean, they had a 2-point-something earthquake over there in New Jersey. A week and some change ago. 2.8 ain't too big, but let the spirit of the Lord rock something over there, man, and rupture one of them nuclear power plants, an earthquake in a diverse place like that, they'll be jacked up. They are quote unquote playing it better safe than sorry. I would be paranoid if I was over there. Like, hold on, why are you get potassium iodide? Those tablets are supposed to protect you or help strengthen your thyroid or whatever else from nuclear exposure. It's not a bulletproof method, but it's supposed to, help protect you in the event that you get exposed to radiation. So if you choose to, that's also something you can put in your emergency kit. That you get you some potassium iodide tablets. And why is this important? Because I know out here in California, in a place called Simi Valley, back in the 50s, they used to do nuclear testing out there before they started, building communities out there. And they started realizing, studies showing people started getting cancer living out in those areas. I know a sister I work with, both her parents died of cancer, and she's from out there. And they died, both her parents died young. While she was young, I should say. And I remember when I was going to school, and I remember the Professor Obina. cat from West Africa. And he used to tell us about all the experiments and the nuclear testing and stuff that the white man used to do. And at the time, I remembered it for when it was time for me to remember. Once I started coming to the knowledge of the truth and all that, I was like, damn, I remember that. Obina used to tell us about, Esau doing all these damn experiments. Simi Valley. You see that? Nuclear accident, 1959. 1959, the Santa Susana Field Laboratory in Simi Valley experienced a partial nuclear meltdown after sodium reactor experiment, releasing significant amounts of radioactive gas into the atmosphere. This incident is considered one of the worst nuclear accidents in U.S. history, with estimates suggesting it released more radiation than the 3 Mile Island accident. I mean, this is all via AI, but if you want to get it fast, you can see it. Look at this. But look at it. Hold on. The accident was kept secret for about 20 years with limited public knowledge until investigations in the late 70s revealed its severity. That's what I'm saying. They hid it, and then when people started getting cancer and dying, it was a problem. And I know that because Professor Obina told us about the stuff, and they was lying about the stuff. And then when I met the sister that I work with, and she told me about both her parents dying, I told her about this. She was like, we heard about it, but we didn't know what was, her parents didn't know if that was true or whatever. It's true. Concerns about health impacts on nearby communities are persistent, with studies indicating increased cancer rates among workers and residents. People are still living out there. And they're still getting exposed. See? Now you're hearing about this popping off. And they had a similar thing went down in but it wasn't even a damn nuclear issue in St. Louis. See, the St. Louis sprayed with chemicals. Army secret chemical testing in St. Louis neighborhoods. You know these neighborhoods, black folks, just like in I've talked about down there in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, and in Florida, where they let out the mosquitoes and killing jakes. Army secret chemical testing in St. Louis neighborhoods during the Cold War, raising new concerns. Yeah, they got a gang of our people. Look at it. In the mid-50s and again a decade later, the Army used motorized blowers atop a low-income housing high-rise at schools and from the backs of station wagons. This up. You see how wicked these people are, man? They was driving through the hoods, emitting out cancerous, destructive chemicals, pumping them out station wagons, polluting the air, killing our people. But we're supposed to forget about this, man. That was in the past. I mean, look, 1955, you got parents, uncles, grandparents that's still alive right now from that time. You ain't that far away in a generation. You can't talk about that was back then. That was a long time ago. Oh, how tragic. No, F that. That and more is still going on right now. Low-income housing, high-rise at schools, and from the backs of station wagons to send a potentially dangerous compound into the already hazy air in predominantly black areas of St. Louis. Keep that in mind as we continue on today or this evening. Because I have something else I'm going to show y'all in a minute. So this was immediately popped in my head. I said, oh, Simi Valley, now they're trying to get everybody heads up here in Harrisburg, saying, here, you might want to hold on to these pills just in case. I would be like, in case what? What? Do I got something to worry about? No, nothing to worry about. Same thing they told the people over there in Simi Valley for 20 years. Hey, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Breathe deep before they get destroyed. I'm not gonna play this video, but this is a because of I don't want to get no copyrights or whatever the case may be. But you can see the channel right here, the Jimmy Dore Show. Shocking truth about October 7th exposed. These Edomites, they can go put this stuff out there. If I do it, the channel getting stricken and it's all kind of problems. But if you look up here, I don't know if you can read this or not. Let me help you out. I don't think it's gonna show it. I ain't gonna let me show it. But anyway,
all stations. I don't know.
no, I don't need you to speak, Jimmy. Calm down. At the top of the video, it says that the IDF, the Israeli Defense, whatever they did, I forgot the acronym. They were told to stand down and let the October 7th, quote unquote, massacre, invasion, terrorist attack happen. This came out the mouth of the Small Hat Army's own people. They got the video, the translations going on, the whole nine. October 7th was another quote unquote 9/11, but it was the Small Hats. They let it go down. Net not a Jew. All of them was behind it. And made everybody run around the earth saying Israel has the right to defend itself. Now, Net not a Jew is saying we're getting ready to take full occupation of Gaza, just like they planned. They want the Ben Gurion canal to get built. They want access to the shore. They want full occupation. They ain't gonna stop. They got the ADL. They got the APAC. They got everybody else funding them, censoring, shutting down anybody that says anything against it. If you do have an opportunity, look up this headline right here if you want to see it on YouTube. I knew about it, but I was just tripping. I said, oh, they actually are putting this out there now. Because I did a little research and I was hearing about this, and I said, I can't speak on this because I know they're going to mess around and shut this channel down or suspend it for a minute. But now I said, oh, there got some Edomites out here pumping and talking about it. Look at the channel, the Jimmy Dore Show, or just look this up in YouTube. You can watch the video. I think it's about 15 minutes that they show. But cat's out the bag, man. They set the whole thing up, man. The Small Hats have been funding Hamas. Yeah, they're funding their own quote unquote terrorists. Told the IDF stand down for like 2 hours, let them go wild. You're seeing the images of the little Small Hat, GMO mutant women. Oh, we got raped, we got kidnapped. They did your own people did it to you. How about that? How about that? Then you wonder why the Most High said that he's going to have beef with Amalek forever. Call him the worst of the heat. But I just want to show that. Check it out on your own time. Give me enough time to check it out. Let's move on. Look, another quote unquote outbreak on the rise. Is it coming? Remember I told you, man, they not stopping. They got all the tricks in the bag coming out. China locks down, virus wars, and cuts the power. Global travel alert as outbreak hits the Americas. Now here they are talking about chikungunya or whatever the dang mosquito virus is. They're already locking down China again. They're cutting the power off. They're in the streets, masked up, spraying the air. Look at the drone spraying. Panic is setting in. Does it look familiar? Does it sound familiar? Oh, the playbook don't change. Get ready, y'all. Who knows? They might pump it up over here. Are they going to say, oh, we've got a few people that came from China out of the airport. Somebody's sick. Oh, got spread around. Another lockdown coming. I mean, but why else? Because when you see the The economy rocky as it is right now. Everybody's already complaining about the prices, the tariffs, the taxes, the cost of living, the layoffs. I mean, it's par for the course to go ahead and say, man, well, let's just shut everything down and start something. You dig? Look, global outbreak fears. Not just China. They're trying to put the fear in everybody. Global outbreak fear surges. A virus in China prompts quarantines and thousands of new cases are reported. China officials announced COVID-like quarantines in some cities as cases of chikungunya virus continue to increase. Over 7,000 cases of the mosquito-borne virus have been reported across the southern city of Foshan in the Guangdong province of the country. So don't be surprised if this is being used as a stepping stone to introduce a new thing coming over here. You know, we're getting ready to enter into flu season and all that in a minute. They're already gonna be talking about, hey, I just went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, and our doc is Jake. We get we be talking and whatnot. And he was like, I was always wondering, man, why you don't do the vaccines? I was like, look, first of all, it's not biblical, and it's I stand by a particular code regarding my temple, my body, what goes in it, what doesn't. I start telling about the different things that's in the vaccines, that from monkey viruses to pig elements from the swine to blood to all different kind of stuff. I said, only those things not going down, man. So number one is biblical. Other than that, just health reasons, and I don't see the need for it. So he was just like, yeah, I understand. Okay. And he said, well, really, we already got a natural immune system. The vaccines and the immunizations, what they do is they trigger the white blood cells in your immune system to get activated. So in the event that said virus that we inject you with, it's already got a defense system already lined up for it. And I'm like, man, if you're not gonna, if you just told me you're gonna give me, you're gonna shoot me with the virus, in hopes that my body builds up a resistance for it, so that when it does come to me, it's already programmed and ready to. I said, man, it's already gonna be programmed whether I get it naturally or not. So I don't need you to give me nothing in advance, bro. Let's knock that off. And he dropped it. We kept it pushing, but that's the science, and that's how they think. And notice now you go at your job, and that you go for your checkups. If you got any particular situation where you going to the doctor on the regular, whatever, they're gonna start whispering in your ear. Hey, flu shot for you today? No. Did you get your booster? Did you get that? No. No. You gonna start hearing about it. And now all of a sudden here comes the new virus. Right? Be prepared. Just saying. This is what I talked about earlier. Hurricane time bomb set to explode as millions face $400 billion doomsday storm, and forecasters warn, get prepared now. All of their meteorologists and all them, I said it a few months ago, that they were anticipating that this year's hurricane season was going to be devastating, and that America is not ready. FEMA ain't got the money. FEMA is investing all of their money in creating camps and detention centers for people. They ain't trying to help nobody. As you see down there in Texas with the floods that went down there, they still upset at FEMA's response. Where was it? Kentucky and I think Kansas or somewhere else where they had them tornadoes hit earlier. They was mad FEMA didn't respond. They told them we broke, can't mess with you right now. You got fires jumping off out here again in California. Thousands and thousands of acres being destroyed. Hey, FEMA's nowhere to be found. Don't be relying on White Zaddy, man. Come save you. They tell you right now, get prepared now. If you're in hurricane zones or you're in a place that's familiar with these particular type of disasters, Whether it happens or not, we don't know. But there's one thing for sure, two things for certain, man. There is a hurricane season. It always sweeps across the southeastern United States and the East Coast every year. In the Caribbean, there's always a hurricane season. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's tolerable. Every time you ain't got you don't need to board up the windows and, everything's going, all hell breaking loose. But there are times where you're going to get them category 2, 3, 4. You heard from a hurricane, or what they always naming them after somebody. Hurricane Maria, a couple years ago, had Puerto Rico living in the dark for like 2 months. They saying that type of thing is coming his way. So we shall see. Notice here, millions of Americans living along the northeast coastline have been warned to prepare for a potentially catastrophic hurricane disaster. And what's ironic is they talking about hurricane disasters up on the East Coast. On the West Coast, they're talking about the fault lines and the volcano eruptions underwater and everything else getting activated in this what do they call it? The circle of fire, ring of fire. That things is gonna get the rocking and rolling over here, and we're way overdue for the big one. Not saying I'm asking for it, Father. Don't take my words for calling your bluff. But hey, it's ironic that coast to coast disasters are being forecasted. Right? Look at this. Meteorologists for AccuWeather issued the alert on Tuesday saying the region has not seen a major hurricane landfall in more than 70 years, making it climatologically overdue. They're saying the same thing over here regarding earthquakes. Lead hurricane expert Alex De Silva said the region has not experienced a direct Category 1 hurricane landfall or stronger in over 3 decades. Typically, every 15 to 20 years, on average, a hurricane will strike New Jersey northward into southern New England. De Silva said a major hurricane, so that's Category 3 or higher for the Northeast, is every 60 to 70 years or so. So they're saying, hey, $400 billion worth of damage and destruction may be coming this season. Get ready. Everybody seen this? Biblical sea turns red, sparking apocalyptic fears. God's plagues have returned. No, that's Galilee, right? Galilee is now looking like the Red Sea. When we start seeing things like this occurring, I mean, you have no other option but to take a mental, spiritual note of what's going on around us. Look at this in 2nd Ezra 15 and 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land there. So not only America is going to be hit with said plagues, Egypt is going to be hit with plagues and things of that nature. But when we're reminded of these particular actions, right? You got no other choice but to sit back and say, man, all praise to the Most High, because when we read about the waters turning to blood in Egypt or whatnot, a naysayer will be like, oh, that's BS. Hey, the Bible is all mythological. The Bible is man-made. The Bible is a lie. And now when you see these things presently in real time, you can have no other choice but to say, you know what, there might be some validity to that Bible. Now, Yahweh Shah told us about it in John 4. And we're going to read 44 down, right? It says, for Yahweh Shah himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. Yeah, and and for me and other brothers, man, that have traveled and moved around and taught this word, man, is one thing. the reception is way different when you go, especially you go to a different country. When the word is received, man, brothers get treated like rock stars sometimes. Many of y'all have seen, IUIC is very, very known for publicizing and promoting and showing their works when they go out around the world. And you can see they drawing crowds, they turning the world upside down, they doing their work. But when you're here and you teaching on the corners over here and watching Compton and in Inglewood and Hawthorne, and you're over here in the valley, what Jake walking down the street, man, look at you like you crazy. Have no honor in his own country, right? Go somewhere else, man, it's gonna be a spectacle. Even when you go to different states sometimes. Different cities sometimes. You go somewhere else, people gonna look at you like, who the hell are these guys over here? What the hell? They're pulling over, they're asking you questions, they're jumping out, they're challenging you, they're doing whatever. But when they're constantly seeing you on the street corners as a routine, many of our people just fly by, walk by, ain't paying you no mind, don't give a damn. Flip you off, talk crazy. But Yahweh said, this is the testimony. A prophet is not going to have honor in his own country. Continuing on, it says, then when he was coming to Galilee, same places where blood was flowing in the waters. The Galileans received him, having seen all the things that he did at Jerusalem at the feast, for they also went unto the feast. So Yahweh came again into Cana of Galilee, where he made the water wine, and there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick at Capernaum. When he heard that Yahweh was come out of Judea into Galilee, I ain't gonna talk about that water turning into wine. I mean, what's the water looking like in Galilee right now? Oh, okay. Was coming to Judea into Galilee, he went unto him and besought him that he would come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. Then said Yahweh unto him, except ye see signs and wonders, ye will not believe. So when you seeing things like this, the Lord said, this is all to help. Same place where he turned water into wine. Hello? Same place he turned water into wine. Oh, we see the water's turning red like blood. You can say red like wine. And he says, unless you see some signs and wonders, you ain't going to believe me. So this is for the non-believers. This is for those whose faith is weak. These are for those who is teeter-tottering in the faith. These are for those who's getting weaker, saying, I don't know if I want to continue. Oh, the Israelite community is so tired. I don't believe this no more. Oh, this was just a fad. The Lord's always going to send the signs and wonders, man, to make sure that our faith stays intact. So take that to the bank. All praise to the Most High. Let's continue. Oh, now, remember we just got to talk about St. Louis, Simi Valley, Pennsylvania. In particular, St. Louis. Remember I said, remember that story? Look at it. Deadly vapor haunts Manhattan as 3 are killed and 67 infected. Yeah, all the cases have been detected in 5 zip codes covering the Harlem, East Harlem, and Morningside Heights neighborhoods. Oh, yeah. New York, in Harlem, primary place where most of our people are living, even though it's getting gentrified and you're seeing Esau running around with their dogs and doing it. Hey, all of a sudden, the water's got this disease called Legionnaire's disease. They just now telling the people, after it's been too late, the water's turning into vapor, it's floating around in the air. People are beginning to say, this is 2 days ago, this article came out. I seen a video or a news report, maybe a day before that. But I believe that the number of infected have gone up in just a couple of days. Let's see what it is right now, just to be sure. Let's do this real quick. see. I don't want to. I want to say, yeah, see, it's up to 70 now. 70 people, 3 deaths. Okay, so it did go up. So now Harlem is in the waters, showers, drinking, you know. Over there in New York, they drinking from the faucets a lot of times because the water's supposedly clean. But now we're seeing here death toll. Deadly lung disease spreading in New York City has risen again. Officials said 3 people have now died from an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease, and cases also have risen, increasing from 58 to 67 in one day. However, officials fear there are more infections going undiagnosed or being misdiagnosed. No information has been released on the patients or the deceased. Very interesting. Water supply is getting, let's say, affected. I don't know where it came from, how it got there, what's going on, but why is it in this particular neighborhood where Jake's is at? Very interesting. Legionnaire's disease is caused by a Legionella bacteria which thrive in warm water and can become airborne if this is turned into steam. It can also be spread by air conditioning units if the bacteria contaminate water droplets within the system. Oh. I wonder if it's hot out there in New York right now. I wonder if Jake's is in the projects and then they buildings and they tenements having to turn on that air conditioner with contaminated water flowing through the house. We know about these shootings going on. So Army Sergeant 5 shot where it was tackled and arrested at Fort Stewart. More violence for America. It's very interesting because we know this ain't our spirit, man. Israel don't be running up. The unfortunate thing is it is our spirit, but we don't do it publicly and just shoot up innocents. Jace is known for going through shooting up parties and crowds of people, of our own people, quote unquote, spinning the block for your ops who look just like you, right? Yeah, we'll do some stuff to ourselves, but to carry it out in public and just to be spraying down, shooting down fellow officers or whatever, that ain't us. Something fishy going on. Something ain't right with his brother. We may find out in the future what happened. Officer killed active shooting suspect dead at Emory University's campus. So another cop gets shot and killed at Emory University in Atlanta. This has happened earlier today, right? So another mass shooting. How many we had? How many public shootings have we had? 5 within the last 2 weeks. I mean, they're unleashing, whether it's the wind-up dolls, the Manchurian candidates, the damn MK Ultra cats, or people just getting that frustrated. I mean, we know pressure bust pipes, man. We talking about people that are economically strained. You know, can you imagine? You got laid. I'm not saying that's what happened here. We don't know the details as of right now. You got laid off. Your rent's due, bills paid, your child support. They about to lock you up. Who knows what the issues that people are going through in their life, and people are like, you know what? F this. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of her. I'm sick of them. You seen the 14-year-old Edomite kid. Yeah, Edomite, because his daddy's Esau, his mama's Jake. Killed both his parents, then walked to the church, called the police, and said, hey, come get me. I got to say some prayers. That just happened. And what's interesting is the mother had, I think she had tweeted or she put it on X or something like that, but she made a post. And she was talking about how her son was making her life a living hell. And then, of course, my mind is, well, it's the demon seed in him. That's what you get. You lay down with a dog, you get fleas, man. Don't get mad when the fleas get irritating and biting you up. That's your son that you have with that white man, and now you talk about how the child's making your life a living hell. Well, that's what happens when you're dealing with the seed of Satan. So the violence is escalating here. Man. We talked about it last week, man. Because iniquity hath abounded, the love of many is waxing cold. Stay alert, y'all. Stay alert. Be vigilant out there because you never know. People are flipping from road rage incidents. Yeah, in Walmart. I was at Walmart Sunday with my rib, man. I'm head on a swivel. It's jam packed in there. I'm like, I'm trying to get up out of here. Not trying to deal with all the damn people up in here, let alone just coming fresh off of seeing Maniac Catman and stabbed up 11 people. No. So be vigilant out there, y'all. There's a lot of demons, a lot of spirits that's moving around in this earth, man, and it's taking no prisoners. Continuing on, layoffs soar 140% as the unspoken job threat gathers steam. Remember, Trump said, "Oh, these numbers is all to make him look bad." No, this is the real deal, man. Layoffs is up 140% from a year ago. I said layoffs was coming 2 years ago. I said, man, give me rare. Layoffs is coming, and sure enough, here it comes. Wasn't because I prophesied, it's because Jerome Powell and all kind of other economists and jobs and people were saying layoffs is coming around the corner. The economy is not looking good, right? So that's what's on the table. Then you wonder why people's out here losing their damn minds. Money answereth all things, and ain't no money out there right now. You know. Look at this. Trump putting more feds on DC streets in response to out of control youth violence. Remember, Trump said, hey, there's a lot of bad people going on with we got some people at home that could be next to get thrown in them camps. That's right. Over here, little Jake's running around on these streets, man. Monstrous children running around here, wilding out in these streets, the YNs. And Trump is saying, okay, we're putting feds on the streets. This is all giving them a reason to militarize the streets, feds on the streets, ICE on the streets, camps set up. We need more detention centers. And this is all going to be the reason why the liberal right wings is going to say, that's right, lock them niggas up, lock them spics up, get them off the streets, make America safe again until their asses get locked up. For saying something they shouldn't have said on their Twitter or on their damn Instagram account, or because they voted the wrong way. Then it's, hold on, this wasn't for me. You was just supposed to get the blacks and the browns. Oh no, your ass is going too. See, look at this. President Trump is planning to deploy federal law enforcement on the streets of the nation's capital as early as Friday to crack down on violence committed by gangs of roaming youths. White House confirmed to the Post. Just roaming youths, gangs of roaming youths. You're walking white black now. I mean, DC and the White House is in the middle of the hood. Remember Tom Homan, he said, hey, we're pulling people over ICE just off of physical profiles. Remember the scripture in Jeremiah said the young men are like bulls hanging out on the streets. So that curse is coming right back into play. Roaming on the streets now. Remember, Hillary Clinton back in '94 said that the black youths need to be brought to heel. Remember that? So now he's bringing in the feds to make these roaming quote youths, the little YNs, the young niggas, bring them to heel. DC residents can expect to see an increase in federal enforcement starting as early as tomorrow. And administration officials said Thursday, adding that operational details were still being finalized. He's got money to throw more feds on the streets, more ICE agents on the street. Can't get you no job. Can't get me a job. You dig what I'm saying? Like, hey, he about to make it hard for Jakes out here in these streets. That's a fact. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it no more, but hey, I couldn't help myself. I mean, the writings on the wall is pretty clear, man. Look at this. Ghislaine Maxwell told DOJ Trump never did anything concerning around her. I mean, she sat down there, had 9 hours of testimony. They sugar down. Remember, I said it's gonna go one or two ways. But she gonna come out there and say Trump had nothing to do with it, and they're gonna give her a sweet little deal, pardon her. They're gonna do something for her, or she can go out there and she can go score surf and burn everything down and make a deal with it with the prosecution. Looks like she says, "Hey, I'm gonna ride with what Trump. The deal that they're." Shortly after she did this, she gets sent down to Club Fed down there in Texas, and she's living like a queen now. Everything's cool, and before you know it, within the next 2-3 years, before he gets up out of office, he gonna pardon her and let her up out of there. She's supposed to get 20 years. They already moved her to a plush little facility. She's chilling now, just because she popped down and said, "Man, Trump didn't do nothing while I was there. Nothing concerning." But the devil's in the details, man. If you're over there grooming and prostituting and taking advantage of girls, I mean, what would be concerning to you? I mean, what could be concerning to me won't be concerning to her. So who knows what the hell? She's saying nothing concerning was happening around her. I mean, Lord knows they could have been giving 15-year-old girl lines of coke, and she might have said that's not concerning. I mean, I was doing coke at 13. You feel me? That's how Esau be thinking about it. I was doing blow at 12. She's 15. That's not concerning. I mean, this type of foolishness they up to. So they gave her a sweet little deal, man. So the corruption continues. This is why this place got to go, man. I'm out of here, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. The water, y'all, for tuning in. Hopefully, y'all got some edification tonight. Some things to pack in your lunch pails, man. Go back. Snack on it tomorrow. If you didn't catch it tonight, catch it tomorrow during the day. Shabbat shalom to y'all. If you just now getting through this and you watched it on the day of the Sabbath, man, all praises, man. If not, catching it at a later time, later date, man. I'm gonna go ahead on and get up out of here. Y'all be well. Have a blessed Shabbat evening. Lord willing, catch y'all tomorrow. And if not, the next time we meet. All right. See y'all later. Shalom. Oh. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger.